Big fluff.
Look, I want to help you. I've been appointed to help you, but everything you're saying is just so far-fetched. They've changed your name, your friends' medical records, crashed planes because...
But just think about it. Just think about it. Our whole world is sitting there on a computer. It's in the computer. Everything. Your DMV records, your Social Security, your credit cards, your medical history. It's all right there. Everyone is stored, and there's like this little electronic shadow on each and every one of us just begging for somebody to screw with. And you know what? They've done it to me, and you know what? They're gonna do it to you.
Hello again, I'm Joel Murphy.
And I'm Andy McIntyre.
And this is Silver Linings Playback, the podcast where we watch maligned movies and we find their silver linings.
And it is the month of August, and we decided to watch cheesy 90s tech internet movies. And there's no movie cheesier or techier or 90s-er than Sandra Bullock's The Net.
It's true.
And we have a special guest to watch it with us and talk about it. Friend of the show, friend of humankind all around, Marty McGuire. What's up, Marty?
Thanks, Joe. I'm so excited to be here. I've asked my mom to please not pick up the phone while I'm online with my friends. I've been saving up my free AOL minutes, and I just couldn't be more excited to talk about the future of the internet that was 1995's The Net.
I'm so happy to hear that because I just ordered a pizza from pizza.net.
Pizza.net.
So I'm ready to talk all night.
You know that domain has been squatted for like almost 14 years now. Like it stopped hosting something in 2011 and somebody's just waiting for a payday.
Yep. You know what? I did know that because it's the first thing I did when that popped up on the URL was to look up pizza.net.
I was like, wait a minute. Could this be me?
Can pizza.net like link to this episode? Can we pull that off? Someone is sitting there waiting for like they're so because you know they're getting offers. So they're so dug in on whatever ridiculous price that they've waited 11 years. No, it'll come along.
I mean, at this point, it could have been passed on in an estate, right? Like this could be something that the parents passed on to their ungrateful children.
Yeah, this is Braden's college fund.
To my son, who I never understood and I didn't like, I leave pizza.net. May you have more success with it than I did and than your grandfather did.
Oh, Lord.
Yours truly.
Third generation website.
Yours truly, Tom Pizza.
The fourth.
Oh, Lord. Truly a dynastic.net.
By the way, I do like we were doing a fun little bit and everything, but sometimes I'm worried that we might have lost already. What the movie is. So I do have a special guest to sort of help us if we get too far off topic to reset us about what we're talking about.
It was called The Net with that girl from the bus.
There you go.
Joel, you finished the entire episode. That was amazing. I didn't know that someone had already done this episode of Silver Linings Playback.
It was called The Net with the girl from the bus.
The girl from the bus.
Serenity Now.
That's great.
It's the Serenity Now episode.
Same episode, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Oh, wow.
Insanity later.
Mm-hmm. Because he buys computers. Frank Costanza buys a bunch of computers to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a computer now.
Yeah, let's just talk about that. You know what? Actually, can we spend the entire episode talking about the Serenity Now episode of Seinfeld?
I mean, Lloyd Braun, great character.
This is a special punishment for me. It's someone who greatly dislikes Seinfeld.
The show.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, the show.
Because I was like, if you said the person, I'd be like, I get it. But the show, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. Jerry Seinfeld, I don't know what he has against people who have to sit up straight to burp. That's a comedians in cars drinking coffee thing. I don't know. Like he's whatever. He's in New York. I can't say anything bad about him because I might live to regret it.
Is there some like New York code of you're not allowed to badmouth other New Yorkers? Is that a rule?
you just never know. You might come across one another, or somebody might overhear, and people know him, people like him.
I don't think that he's a man of
I
the.
have a bad time.
I don't think he's a man of the people. I don't think you'll ever have to encounter him.
I could be, but he's lived here a long time. Like, you should watch the Comedians in Cars episode with Alec Baldwin, and just like, those guys are trouble. Those guys have been around, and they know everybody. So you just got to watch your back.
Yeah. I have run into Jerry Seinfeld on the streets of New York.
Nice.
The thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
See, this is what I'm saying.
What's the deal
So I can't badmouth the man.
with crosswalks? We're not walking on a cross.
Jesus died so that I could cross this street.
Shouldn't the little man on the light be Jesus if we're walking across? There's 13 stations.
When he died for our sins, was it in this crosswalk? Because these drivers are out of control.
I feel persecuted by the Romans.
Look,
My friend Judas kissed me.
I'll say this for the man. Nothing is more fun than doing an impression of Jerry Seinfeld.
It's true.
You could really just let your disdain show, whatever it is.
He is. Everyone can do a Seinfeld. He's one of those impressions.
Well, you can even get like meta with it. You just, what's the deal with observational comedy? You just say a thing that everyone's familiar with, and then you do this voice.
It's not observational. It's not comedy. What is it?
Yeah, it works every time.
I'm not observing anything.
Also, sorry, we did it again, guys. Like, what are we even talking about?
It was called The Net with that girl from the bus.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for getting us back on track. Rest in peace to Jerry Stiller. Still saving us from our worst instincts. Decades after his
Speaking
passing.
of worst instincts, so like this, even just Joel asking me about this movie unlocked just like a bodily reservoir of nostalgia that like it was like something burst inside of me, and I was like, oh yeah, the mid-90s. Wow, this right, because she had just done Speed a couple years ago, but then like she did While You Were Sleeping, which was like much more questionable Sandra Bullock role. Like she was great in it, but it's like this character morally not okay. And now here she is. She's on the internet, which is where I want to be in 1995. But I have to mow so many lawns to get those minutes of AOL. That's very difficult for me to do so. Plus, she has that good Mac hardware. So, yeah, it washed over me. And then I looked around and I realized that it's not just me. It's like, gentlemen, everyone's talking about Nintendo's latest console and how good Donkey Kong is on it, right? That's today. No, that's 1995 when the Game Boy Color was released. And so was Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. It had just been released the year before. What has happened to us? Is it nothing? Is everything the same?
Well, you know what's so funny about this movie, and essentially the plot of this movie revolves around this, is the idea that in 1995, it is so noteworthy that Sandra Bullock's character is online that her neighbors are like, I don't know who this lady is. She's online all the time and nobody can even verify who she is because she's just on that like the idea that like she's the outlier because she lives her entire life on the internet is insane to think about 30 years later.
It took 3 decades for that to completely flip.
Yeah, we're now
exactly.
It would be
like watching that opening. So she like has a work call, which like, you just kind of log off Zoom. You don't want to do these synchronous things. They want to meet in person. No, thank you. They really push it. Well, yeah, she's a woman in tech, so everything is the same there. She then orders food online, which in 1995 was amazing. And now we're just like, oh, whatever happened to pizza.net?
Yeah.
Because the Domino's pizza tracker, which like, I think the Pizza Hut tracker is what that was based on. They probably couldn't get the rights from Pizza Hut. But they were very proud of being one of the first ways to order pizza online. But now it's like, oh, the Domino's tracker is almost exactly calling back to those aesthetics. And everything that she's doing feels correct. You don't know your neighbors? Correct.
Yeah.
None of them know you? Correct.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, also,
your
like,
biggest relationship is with the FedEx guy who weirdly says you have a nice house. Like,
well, and
FedEx guy.
the fact that like she's scammed by someone who she doesn't meet on a dating site, but she's scammed by someone by essentially because she says online what her dream guy would be, and then he catfishes her.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catfished before catfishing.
Yeah, she was the original. And catfish in a tropical island, which is where you want to do catfishing, I would imagine.
Face to face.
Famously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should have been called devlining. I think that we're wrong.
Right.
That to call it catfishing, that Devlin, played by Jeremy Northam in The Net, was the first catfisher, and that should be what the term is now.
Which Devlin is also the same. Devlin has not changed in 30 years.
No, that guy
still
yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
They just launched. This guy got famous for doing a coding interview with an LLM helper writing his stuff, and he got kicked out of school. And don't worry, he turned it around, saying, "I'm going to do a big startup where everybody cheats." That's literally like their tagline, and they're pushing a service. Their ad is basically like, this guy listens to his LLM tell him what to tell his date. And I'm like, wow, the only thing that's different is actually Devlin had to memorize some facts.
Yeah. Yeah. He needed to be able to live it. Like his improv skills were stronger, I think.
Couldn't remember Bach.
Yeah. Can we also talk about the fact that Devlin was an evil name in the 1990s? And I don't know what that is. And I only have 2 data points, but I do want to point out that this movie and The Fugitive have evil Devlins because Devlin McGregor, they falsified the reports so that Devlin McGregor could give you Provasic, if you remember,
If how can we forget?
Don't remember, Mr. Kimball.
But it's like, you never hear the name Devlin now, but it was ominous in the 1990s for sure.
Well, you hear it. Devlin, he's deviling.
Oh, you know what? Until you said it, that never occurred to me.
Until you brought it up, then I'm like, that's an evil name. I'm like, yeah, it is, of course. Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah.
Because of course it is.
Yeah, well, they're okay.
Lazy writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was like the movie that came out a couple years ago, Late Night with the Devlin.
That's right.
Starring friend of the show, David Dustmalchian.
Starring friend of the show, David Dustmalchian. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, well, also, I don't know, this movie might just be ripping off The Fugitive because she also escapes through a crowd similarly to how he does during the St. Patrick's Day.
And shaves her beard.
Sort of.
Yeah, she shaves her beard.
They do. There are so many references in this movie that I can't tell if they are references that, like, if they are making references or if references are later, like, if this is convergent evolution. But there's one, she's gotten away. She's finally got a shower and she like misses with something off camera while we're listening to a news report about her. And she brings up a comb. I'm like, yes, this is the scene where she is going to dye her hair and, like many other fugitive. And then she doesn't. She actually just combs her hair.
Yeah. But it does do the classic movie thing, which is every news report in this movie is always exactly about her. And even like the B stories, because it's like A story is she's been cleared of all charges. B story is 2 people found dead at computer conference. Like it's always somehow related to her. Exactly. No news has anything except specific information for her.
Speaking of the news conference, just the like utter callousness when they talk about, because the movie opens, to kind of get it back into order, with a government official in one of the, just living in the DC area. It's very noticeable, but there are establishing shots that are clearly DC, and then every shot with him is clearly not DC.
Not DC.
Yeah. Like so blatant, like different, like season. It's wildly different. And movie begins with him killing himself. And you're like, why did he kill himself? Well, Sandra Bullock's going to eat some pizza. That's how the movie starts.
Yeah, that's we're just gonna. That was your cold open. Actually, I would like to pull a moment from that. The moment where the camera sort of pans away so that we draw the veil on him pulling the trigger. There's this fantastic statue in the background that actually was in DC, and it's called The Awakening. It has since moved to National Harbor, and
which is right across the river.
Yeah, not far, but like what a fantastic shot it was, like coming over the shoulder of this guy in this moment, and you look out over the grass and there's the water and then this giant statue, and you know like you're supposed to be in the DC area, and like, have you seen where it is today? Have you just like, it's just got a Wikipedia page. It's the Awakening sculpture. Maybe Joel, if you're doing any post-production, just grab a couple images of this, because they moved it, and in National Harbor it looks like a sad corner of an outdoor mall, and
it's true.
You can see people pose next to it with a Christmas tree in the background, and it's just like, oh no, dude is waking up and he's having a bad morning.
You know, where are our disgraced congressmen going to go to end their lives now? Does anybody think about that? You know, were they going to go to Panera Bread first?
Is that even a thing anymore?
That's true. Which also, by the way,
possibly the most unrealistic part of this film is that this guy was like, listen, I don't want this to become the whole podcast, but there should be a season of Serial that's about like, what is this guy's backstory that he got a blood test that said he maybe had HIV, and he was just like, well, time to just clock out of everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that, this congressperson, or he was Assistant Secretary of Defense, I think was his actual title.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Undersecretary of Defense Michael Bergstrom. But the news report later on in the movie, like, and Undersecretary of Defense Michael Bergstrom killed himself because he had AIDS.
And in other news, yeah, that's the whole thing.
Also,
and AIDS is like in this movie in big time because it was in the backdrop. Like,
yeah,
DC was still not acknowledging it. They have some marches in there about raising AIDS awareness.
They kind of were. Clinton was on the right side of history with
they
that.
were starting to, for sure, but like the history had not been with them. And the idea that like this appointed guy was so much like, there's, I don't know, movie writers, there's other ways to get HIV, and also like people knew medical tests could be wrong.
Well, right.
And someone with the wealth, power, and influence of the Undersecretary of Defense absolutely could have gotten treatment in 1995.
Right. Well, and also real Streisand effect, because like if the whole thing is that he's ashamed of it, that becomes the main, that's the top line.
His legacy.
Yeah, that's the first sentence, you know, like of any obituary or any like, memory of him is going to be like, who killed himself when he got AIDS?
But don't and like I have questions where it's like, oh wow, they must have been pushing this guy because he was working against them. He must have been really standing up against nothing. We don't learn anything about why they did this to this guy.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of like provocative things that happen in this movie, but we're never really okay. So let's do this. Let's try. So we've established the opening, and then we establish our plucky hero, who is a internet. She's like a debugger, I guess. Like, what is her job? Like,
she's a beta tester.
She's a beta tester. Yeah.
The thing that she said, and it holds out.
Yeah.
Only Devlin calls her a hacker. In the rest of the movie, she doesn't hack.
No, she's not. There's a scene where she hacks.
She's good at using computers.
And we were introduced to her. Yeah, she's playing Wolfenstein 3D, and it has a virus. And but her friend mails her a 3x5 floppy disk, or 3x5, 3.5,
3.5 inch.
It's been so long.
I'm so glad you had me here to catch you on these.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
3.5 floppy disk, which you kids that are listening might know it as the icon to save something.
The save icon.
Yeah, that was 3D printed for this movie. But yeah, so she sent this floppy disk.
Yeah, I got some of these here.
Yeah. Those are all the viruses that you have.
Yeah, these are the viruses. I got these. These are movie accurate props, by the way. These are the same size and shape as the ones that go into all of those beautiful Mac computers.
Yeah. So she basically figures out there's a virus in a Wolfenstein, and which is, if you don't know too, that's the precursor to Doom. It was the like proto Doom with worse graphics somehow. which I played.
Still big in the day. Like it was, I love the way they said that they were like hyping this up. This needed to be a big game release. It's the bloodiest game of all time. No blood is shown on screen. Actually, like these characters are getting shot. Her health doesn't change even though she's getting killed. It's a very interesting can demo. Yeah. It's really why I actually went back and watched it multiple times.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what did they do here?
But yeah, but there's a virus and she identifies it and she saves the virus to a disk, which she mails to her friend. And it turns out that virus is the tip of a conspiracy where a very powerful company that, and this part does not seem far-fetched, that the government has just decided to trust these tech bros to be in charge of everything. They've gotten the government contracts. They now control everything. And then they are the ones that faked this guy's blood test, and they have her friend taken out because I'm still not exactly sure. He's flying a Cessna and they, I guess, give him bad information. I'm not exactly sure why he crashed.
They use the internet to tamper with his altimeter or something like that.
Or like his GPS. Like he doesn't seem to know where he is. Also, his plane crashes suddenly into an industrial building.
Yeah.
Like he just did a little tiny 9/11. And that's not in the news at all. Wasn't
it like a cooling tower for a power plant or something?
That's what I thought.
And also, but that wasn't a thing yet, Marty. So nobody knew.
That's true.
Nobody knew what was happening. But yeah, he does.
This movie happened in May.
Yeah.
But flying, like he flew a plane into a building and that was not the lead. People were just like, oh, it's really tragic. He crashed his Cessna.
Right. But also, like, it's so not a big deal that he does it in the town that Sandra Bullock lives in and she hasn't heard about it. She doesn't even know a plane crash. She literally calls another guy and he's like, haven't you heard? Like, that's how much not in the news it is. When the news, to be clear, we've covered the news exclusively reports on Sandra Bullock's life. And this is still not important enough in her life to be on the news.
Is she getting Truman Showed this whole time?
I think so. I think absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, at this point in the movie, she's trying to unplug. Like her whole goal is to go on vacation for the first time in several years.
Relatable.
So it makes sense that she's turned off the news. The news is not entering into this. She's got to get her suitcase packed and get out the door.
And so she goes on vacation, and while she's on vacation.
Not before stopping in to visit with her mother, who has Alzheimer's, who will become a football in this movie.
Yes.
As well as a metaphor for what's happening to poor Angela Bennett.
Well, and also so tragic because her mother could be the one to identify her later, but doesn't remember her. And it's very sad. But yeah, so she goes on vacation. She's catfished by Devlin, who's trying to get the disc back because they know that she has this disc with the virus, and all their plans, I guess, are all on the disc. Like, the disc is bad and it's going to ruin them. That they have infiltrated every level of life in the United States, but this disc can take them down, baby. And so they got to find it because I don't know why I don't know. The guy, they're very comfortable like crashing his plane, but for her, they need to make sure that they get the disc, and she confronts the guy on a boat almost wisely, but really with no exit strategy. It's just like, what's this gun doing? And then didn't think past that, except she took the bullets out.
Well, she was smart enough to take the clip out and
but then she escapes, but she is out for several days and she wakes up.
She escapes in a little speedboat Zodiac raft situation and then immediately wipes out.
And then she wakes up in like some sort of like it's a nun, like it's a medical church run.
It's like
hospital.
An English patient situation. It's one of these like, this is a filmic reference.
Yeah, and so she wakes up there, and then she's lost her purse and all of her ID and everything. And she goes just because she needs to get a passport so that she can get back home.
Wait, Joel, importantly, what happened to the disc? Where's the disc? That's the cause of all this stuff.
Yeah, it got ruined, which, again, seems like they probably could have just left her alone.
That seems to be enough. They should be like, all right,
it should be problem solved, right?
Yeah.
these bad guys, like, no no problems.
Yeah,
Mission
but
accomplished.
yeah, so the one thing they were worried about is now destroyed. And she has no idea what's going on at this point. And like, I think they've kind of sussed that out. Like, they don't seem to, like, she doesn't seem like a threat, you know? And the guy seems fond of her, but because she escaped, they switch her identity. And this is confusing because they give her a different identity, but it's not the identity of a specific lady. Like, she doesn't just switch they make up a new one. And then they make they give her she's been arrested a bunch of times because they get, and again, this is all being put into a 1995 internet, you know, and they're like,
right.
and the whole thing is that she's like, I'm Angela, I'm not Ruth, you know, like, I'm me. And they're like, okay, lady. And I
just want to emphasize, like, it sounds like what Joel is saying is maybe a little abstract, but no, like, this is the process repeated at least half a dozen times.
And the
where she
problem
like
is,
tries to go somewhere for help or reach out to her old life, and everyone there is like, but your name is Ruth and I don't know you. And she says, but my name is Angela. And then like things get worse for her.
And also in this world of this movie in the year 1995, physical records, I guess, don't exist, because like you would think that still at that point she could like get her birth, because they're like, they even fingerprint her and they're like, well, the system says your fingerprints are for this Ruth lady. And it's like, yeah, but like a file somewhere says that there's like, even now there's physical records. So in 95, we were not like most people. It was a novelty to be online. So like the idea that this level, you know, she can't prove that she owns her house.
Right. They've sold her house out from under her.
Which again is like, there's a guy that's like, well, I don't know. The other lady said she was Angela and she showed up with the deed. And it's like, well, didn't she deal with a real estate agent to buy the house? Like, there's still in this world, she has no.
There's for sure a paper trail.
Yeah. Somehow she has no paper trail. She doesn't know. She has no friends. She doesn't know anyone. Her mom can't remember her. And she has no way of proving that she's her, except the only person that knows who she is, Cha-Cha, is one.
Hey there, Chicho.
Is one Dennis Miller, who's plays, and I had seen this movie when it came out, and I remember that he was in it, but I did not remember the backstory, which is wild. Yeah. Which is that
I was like, I remember he was like, I remember he was like, he was like not great, but like ultimately he was kind of a cool guy. I remember rooting for him, folks. I do not root for this man in 2025.
To be clear, the backstory of Dennis Miller, if someone's watching this and they don't know, is that he was her therapist who then, basically betrayed all that he stood for as a therapist, betrayed the oath and
as a professional, as a husband, as a human being.
And he started a romantic relationship with her. But it's treated in this movie like they just dated and that we should kind of like him.
Yeah, I mean, he insists so while not listening to her even once.
No, he doesn't believe her at all.
Actually, the one thing I did remember from his character that still really strikes a chord with me, and maybe you fellas can say it with me, Seldane, the antihistamine of champions. Anybody remember this line? No? As somebody who took Seldane all of my childhood life until the FDA had it pulled from shelves in 1998, Seldane was the antihistamine of champions. And I don't want to make this a whole podcast about Seldane, but it's really fascinating to me that in 95 it was receiving big name in this movie. Pulled from shelves only a few years later when it was reformulated as Allegra, that was missing some of the compounds that allegedly made Seldane interact with some heart medications to lead to heart palpitations and heart failure.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Listen, all I'm saying is that the mega conglomerates we should have been watching out for were pharmaceutical companies the whole time.
Like Devlin McGregor and Provasic.
I had Provasic.
It's what I've been saying, and nobody's listening to me.
Test wasn't ready for trials.
And look, that man, well, I would say he'd fly a Cessna better than they do in this movie, but he might still crash it if we're being real.
I still crash it, but survivable.
Yeah. But yeah, so Dennis Miller plays her, horrible. And it seemingly he's like still practicing and has suffered no consequences for this terrible thing that he's done. But he helps her for a while until they figure out that he's helping her. And then
they use computers to forge medical records such that after many attempts, it seems like, oh no, they're going to get this guy. And I remembered that they got the guy, but I do not remember that it took them so long and so many tries to finally like put him down. By faking that he was he had an anaphylactic reaction to something. I don't think
penicillin.
Because
they did a close up on the bottle, then it said penicillin.
Right. They switched his medicine allergy. And he, instead of taking Seldane, he took penicillin, triggered an allergy, goes to the hospital, but he's fine. And then they switch his records at the hospital that we're treating him for diabetic shock, so we need to give him a bunch of insulin. Then he goes into insulin shock and dies.
It's like they're a bunch of bees and he's Macaulay Culkin and my girl Cha-Cha.
It is like that.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
When am I ever going to get to do my world famous Dennis Miller impression?
Listen,
you don't do it enough.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. That impression, I really love doing it, but it also hangs like the sword of Damocles over me.
The head bobble is important.
It is. It's very important. Impression.
It's how you find the right nasally tone.
Yeah.
And esoteric literary reference.
Maybe he didn't actually need the inhaler. Maybe it was just the nasally tone.
That's right. The Seldane thing, no one asked him to do that. He just brought that to the set himself.
He was just a Seldane addict.
Yeah, they changes. It's like a Rube Goldberg series of things because he needs that medication. He goes to the pharmacy, they switch it. And so then he ends up in the hospital, at which point then they switch his medication again so that he dies, which hit him with a car. Like, just,
shoot him.
Yeah, shoot him. You were going to shoot Sandra Bullock.
They shoot a bunch of people.
Yeah.
They shot the guy they hired to steal Sandra Bullock's bag.
Right. And also, like, Dennis Miller.
And then later they shoot the guy that pretends to be an FBI agent and like, she wrecks the car. Great moment. I think it's finally a time when Angela Bennett steps up, wrecks the car, and then they just shot that guy. They just shot that guy.
Yeah. Which also, okay, so Dennis Miller is killed via Final Destination type rules.
Yeah, he gets Final Destination.
But then at that point, so now she has no one in her life.
HTTP:// Final Destination.
But he was going to contact his friend at the FBI, unexplained. He has a friend at the FBI. But he dies. And so she feels hopeless. And then
it's like a regular deep throat cha-cha.
Call me Linda Lovelace.
It's important to swallow that vowel.
But yeah, so then somehow she gets arrested. Like at that point, like she finally, because they say that there's a bunch of warrants out for her arrest or something, and there's a traffic stop.
Ruth Marsh has a ton of
and she's like trying to escape.
Murdered people, has a drug problem.
Yeah,
and
so
just keep adding to it. Like you see them enter this in the computer where it's like, oh, she was picked up for prostitution, and I'm like, that's petty. That's petty crap, Devlin. But then later it's more where it's like hospitalized for venereal disease. And I'm like, this is extremely petty. Devlin, you are just...
Wait till the silver linings, Marty. Hold on a second.
I'm sorry. Are we not supposed to be doing the things we like?
But yeah, so then she ends up in prison. She gets a public defender who just is like, you're crazy. Now, this is where this already confusing movie gets more confusing because again, to be clear, with Devlin and his crew, the disc is destroyed, at which point she wasn't a threat anyway. But then you didn't want to leave her as a loose end, so you completely ruined her life, gave her a false identity, stole her life, stole her house, really threatened to kill her mom, and like did all this stuff to her, got her arrested. She's in prison. Nobody believes her. She has no, like, as far as the system is concerned, she is Ruth Marks. She was evading the police, which is another strike on a long record of this convict.
Long, petty list of fake
She's
crimes.
gonna go to prison and problem solved. And then even if you're still worried about it, I don't know, pay someone else to shiver or whatever. Like, seems pretty easy to take her out at that point. But instead, they have one of their guys pretend to be an FBI agent to get her out of prison, to drive her to Devlin.
Under a false flag to pretend to be the FBI.
Yes, and drive her to Devlin, which then she wrecks the car. She escapes. At that point, she decides to go to them, to
Cathedral.
To Cathedral, because she's figured out that the fake Angela works there. And the fake Angela is at the desk of her old friend, has not gone through the desk, has not checked any of the discs that are sitting there. They're still, because this has all happened pretty quick. You know, this is all within a few days. So, she's at the desk. Angela pulls the fire alarm and then uses the computer.
And all the lights go out.
Yeah,
which is important during evacuation.
Yeah.
It's always important to see worse.
Yeah. And so that gets her at the computer. She gets the information she needs. Conveniently, this is happening at the exact same time as a big computer conference, 10 feet away. And she heads over there because she needs to use a computer, which she does. And then
to access the mainframe.
To access the mainframe. And then she uses the Wolfenstein virus, which when you press escape, deletes everything.
Just everything.
And in like everything. Like, so somehow it doesn't just, it's not like she doesn't exist. It's not like at this point, it's not like the end of Escape from LA. Sorry. Spoilers for Escape from LA. Cha-cha.
Spoilers for a 28-year-old movie, Chicho.
Call me John Carpenter the way I'm ruining Escape from LA. I love John Carpenter, but
I hope so.
Yeah.
You're gonna make enemies.
Oh yeah, I do not want enemies with John
sucks.
Carpenter. Your career is unassailable as far as I'm concerned. But you probably had it at Escape from New York. Probably could have. Stopped.
Probably enough.
Yeah. But anyway, if anyone remembers Escape from LA, which I do, they wipe out everything and they start over. Marty's nodding because he knows.
I know.
But that's not what happens. It just deletes the bad stuff and fixes everything.
I'm so excited for the silver linings part
just to get to explain this
to Joel.
It is literally a Deus Ex Machina. It is literally a god in the machine that wipes it all out. And it's just like, it fixes it. It fixes everything. That's all she needed to do the whole time was hit escape once. And the guy hits escape. She doesn't even do it.
That's right. She makes him do it.
And then she goes up to a catwalk and murders him.
She does. She really does. But not before he murders fake her.
He murders fake her, which honestly, we might come back to that. But yeah, she just stands there on the catwalk and he's like, oh, hey, cool. That's nice. I thought you didn't like me, but you're just waiting here for me at the top of this catwalk. That's right. And then she's like, kabong, and she hits him. And then it's not a Wilhelm scream, but he does a ridiculous scream as he falls to his death at the conference where she's standing there. Again, this is an unsolved murder that nobody has any leads on. They can't figure out that she did it.
But and somehow the fake her is now taking on the Ruth persona,
which makes no sense.
It makes no sense
because she just deleted everything they did. But the fake her is not Ruth Marks, but is considered to be Ruth Marks, which is not a thing that she does in the computer, which she could do in the way that they did it. Like, it does seem like there is a version of this movie that's not lazy. Where
there's just a couple more minutes of her at her work computer.
Yeah, where she does all of these things, where she clears her name and gets her house back and then makes the other lady Ruth Marks. That would have actually been clever to be like, well, I think you're going to have trouble bringing me in, Ruth Marks. And then we're like, hey, officer. And then got a guy's attention to arrest her. That would have been clever, but that's not what they did. And then you could have gone back to the put upon public defender who doesn't even notice that it's a different white lady. It's just like, whatever.
That's a little mid-roll, mid-credits roll.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm not Ruth Marx. Oh, this again. Come on.
Okay.
I told you. Listen, Olivia, I told you before.
Marks.
Oh, that would have been a silver lining. I actually would have gone up a full star rating on this movie if they did this. To 1. I would have gone to 1.
Yeah.
Well, 1.5 because half a star for pizza.net.
Yeah. Pizza.net gets a half star for sure.
So wait, I'm trying to count this up. Are you saying this is a low star scoring movie for you, Joel?
What do you put it at?
Well, what's the top number of stars?
5.
Okay, this is a 4-star movie.
4 stars.
No, that's I can't hold that bid. But I will give this movie 3 stars easily.
Okay. All right. And you're the tech guy. Like that's high praise from you.
Yeah, are we talking about the tech yet?
Well, I think we covered it because as far as what I'm hearing, the headline is Marty McGuire says this movie 4 stars, which means what, like 80% accurate, right? If we do that math.
Yes, my stars are based purely on technical accuracy. I should have made that clear at the beginning.
Yeah, so
we missed an important thing. Devlin worked for a mysterious organization, the Praetorians, that were the ones that had infiltrated all of these computer networks,
right,
using their magic on this disc. Who's that? Oh, it turns out it's the head of this company that wants to install firewalls in all of the major banks and public institutions. And because of bad hackers, the government is just rolling over and saying, yeah, we'll install your gatekeeper software. Surprise! The CEO, billionaire, was guilty and faced justice.
That does feel like the most realistic
Very
part.
swift justice, in fact. We see that guy in 2 scenes at the beginning, or like one in the beginning, one a little later. He's just in the same shot, I swear, walking outside of his building surrounded by press, answering questions.
Yeah, they had that guy for a day for sure.
Exactly. And like the second scene he appears in is getting arrested.
Yeah. Which they took lunch and then they arrested him. Then that was his day. I don't even think they changed his tie. I think if we actually went back and looked, he's probably dressed the same.
It's the same outfit.
Yeah. Very unrealistic. Both that he would suffer justice, but also that a billionaire would be evil. That doesn't track. A guy who runs a tech company, come on, would be evil.
Crazy.
And the government would just let him into all of our files. Can you imagine?
Joel, have you heard the thing where like it's actually impossible to be so sarcastic that someone doesn't believe you're being sincere?
But I'm just saying, for real, you're the tech guy and I'm not. But like 2025, can you think about this? Picture this now, because a lot of this movie, it's 30 years ago. It's hard to imagine. But imagine now, there was a guy who was a billionaire who owned a tech company, and the government let him into all of our files to just do whatever he wanted. Can you imagine?
Preposterous.
What if that happened?
What if that happened? That guy would probably get arrested, right? For like his crimes, like in the movie, right?
I forget what legal representation do y'all have for this podcast? It's starting to get political in here, and
well, I think it's time to pivot. I think we did it. Like we talked about the bad stuff. I think we're ready to. Well, I don't know. Did you want to say anything about the tech stuff? Sincerely, do you want time?
Or is it part of the silver lining?
It's part of the silver linings, baby. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then.
Let's do it.
If there's one thing where they actually thought about this, for better and worse, it's the tech.
All right.
Well, let's pivot.
Should we hit it? All right.
Pivot!
All right, Marty, what's so great about the tech in this movie?
Okay, where to even start? Everything about this is so 90s that it is like actually kind of amazing. And I think everything that's not quite what you would expect, like Joel pointed out, why is it Wolfenstein and not Doom? It's like, because Doom was like fresh and they actually faked Wolfenstein. They made a Wolfenstein looking thing. But one thing that is very real is all of that sexy fucking Macintosh hardware. They had every Apple that I like know about from that time and a few more. And I coveted that stuff as a kid. I loved it. Like, I still wish we were living in like the System 7 days of operating systems. But like all of that stuff, people said like, your house is nice. The FedEx guy made a weird thing about that. She had more electronics than that house was worth. So I don't know. That one got me. Was that what were y'all doing on computers in 1995?
Well, from what I remember, I had a friend who I think I went to a hockey game with him, a Washington Capitals game, and I spent the night over his house, and he had AOL. And that was the first time I went on the internet, was at my friend's house, my friend Alan. And I think I signed up for a Hotmail account using his computer. And then I think I spent like the next year or two begging my parents to get the internet, but it was probably like closer to 97 before I was like really on there.
Yeah, I did not have a computer in my household until 1999.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I do remember Alan took me into the lesbian chat room, and then I weirdly, like, I came home and I told my mom about it, because I was like, yeah, we did this. Again, she didn't care. But then she said, she was like, they were probably also like young boys pretending to be lesbians. And that I was like, no, we invented that.
I'm the first one to think of this.
Yeah, we thought we were geniuses. It probably was. It was just nothing, but
incredible.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like the things about the tech that were amazing. So yeah, that was all like real Apple hardware, nice stuff. When she like takes the floppy disk, but then like burns it onto an optical disc, I'm like, oh, she has money in the 90s. So that was, every time hardware came out, I was just like, oh, look at that thing. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's very good. But they also actually made a lot. So there's, of course, a lot of BS. You know, whenever the little Praetorian's Pi thing is running, we're just looking at like flashes of screens. It's whatever they're doing for fun. But there are so many times in this movie where you just watch Sandra Bullock use a computer like a normal person. And it is the most stressful thing to watch.
Yeah.
We watched her compose not one, but 2 emails. In the opening scene, we see her write an entire email and dictate it out as she is typing it. And then in the big climactic moment when she's in front of the computer in the convention hall, surrounded by people who should be asking, what are you doing on our computer? And she's being stalked by 2 people with guns. We watch her write an actual, very thoughtfully worded letter to the FBI.
Which,
in real time.
Look, obviously she was doing the best she could under a stressful situation. I thought a little too wordy, that email. I think you could have, you're really under a time crunch. She was using
some real 25-cent words when like 5-cent words could have done.
Hey, FBI, look at this.
She made a whole point to say, like, my name is Angela Bennett. And I have been witness to many crimes.
She did say, I have been witness. And I was like, Angela, come on. Like, time is ticking here. Is this one of the first examples of a person at a desk in front of a computer and that someone is coming back to that desk and that little bar is slowly filling up? This has to be an early example of that, right?
It's such a meme now.
Yeah. The progress bar is like, is it going to finish? Can she get away?
Yeah, like that's definitely, which is like, that's in an Iron Man movie. Like we still do that trope now.
Still do that. And it's and like arguably the graphics have not gotten better. They've just gotten flashier. And
well, I mean, how else can you convey that this and honestly, I mean, our computers, that is what it looks like. But yeah, it's still that little bar filling up. Yeah,
I love it when it's just like, listen, we're gonna build tension right now. That's it. Like it's just this thing is gonna happen. We don't know if it's gonna finish in time. Bite the nails.
By the way, I'm sorry, we pivoted and I maybe should have put this in the liminal space, but I missed it. At the Santa Monica Pier, was that furry just like, was he helping her or was he just annoying?
Who pays him? That's attitude I would expect more from like a Times Square Elmo or something.
Yeah, well, I also I thought he was gonna like take a mask off and be the FBI guy.
I work for the Praetorians the whole time.
Well, like be helping her. He seemed like he was helping her intentionally, but then it didn't seem like.
I mean, he creeped on her first, so like we knew that like, all right, just because she's just a woman in a public space. She's going to get creeped on by the guy in the costume. But then she turns that to an advantage when he's such a creep that he ends up physically separating her from her attacker.
Which gives her the space.
How
she
dare
needs.
you say that 1995 Sandra Bullock is just a woman in a public space? How dare you?
I misspoke, and I would like
It's
to
the woman
apologize
from the bus.
Yeah, it is the woman from the bus, Marty. Yeah.
I wanted to see this movie so bad because like Sandra Bullock was girlfriend in my young mind. I was just like, she's got it all. And she uses internet.
I use internet.
I mean, I wanted to. I would have been 95, like 8th grade, just about going into high school when this came out. This was summer 95, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would have been just about a freshman in high school. And not really on the internet, just dreaming about it. Still in AOL's walled garden.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point too. Yeah, when I was saying it too, I don't even know when I got to the internet because it was definitely AOL that like I was on in the 90s. Also,
for a while, like they were not the real internet. You could only use their AOL keywords, and then closer to 97 might have been it where they said like, okay, we'll let you have access to the real internet now.
And then we had an open internet, and then we lost it, and now we're back to gated communities that don't let you go anywhere else.
But I will say one thing, and I don't know if this is a silver lining. I don't know where this belongs. Do with this what you will. But one thing watching this film is like just getting mad about people gaslighting Sandra Bullock. And there's two sides to that where I'm like, hey, people, like, stop being idiots. Computers can be wrong. But also, like, Sandra, stop pretending that people have your best interests at heart or that they're treating you correctly. However, like, all of those things are still real today. Like, people are absolutely sycophantic about, like, whatever random crap they read that the computer said. And on the other side are people being like, I don't understand. How can you really believe this? How can you be like this when people are absolutely being disingenuous?
Yeah. I mean, I think it did. Yeah. It very early on captured that it was going to be terrible to be a woman on the internet. I think it was really.
Yeah, they got that.
Yeah, on that from day one.
In spades.
Yeah. I also, thank you, Marty. It was nice learning a lot about how much you were in love with Sandra Bullock in 1995.
I mean, I'm less proud of it, but I was also a fan of Dennis Miller in 1995. I was excited to see him disappointed with what his role became, and then rewatching it, extremely disappointed in myself.
All fair. I think it's weird that this movie's directed by Irwin Winkler. I don't know if that's a silver lining, but
also his wife played the mom in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Irwin Winkler is maybe one of the most successful producers in the history of Hollywood. He was a frequent collaborator with Martin Scorsese through the 80s and 90s, all the way up through Wolf of Wall Street. Did all the Rocky movies.
Wow. But produced those. How many has he directed?
His directing career, less good. He directed he directed his first movie in 1991 when he was already in his 60s.
Wow.
And it was Guilty by Suspicion. And then this is probably his biggest directorial effort. Or maybe Home of the Brave, which is, I think, a 9/11 reflection movie. No, it's not. Never mind.
What a swing.
Either way.
What a swing to take.
I know, because I thought I remembered it, but it's not.
Okay.
And I looked, I was like, nope.
That's not what you think when you see the title. I mean, it tracks.
And
it does track.
Andy swings out worse than Mighty Casey at the bat. Cha-cha.
Yep. Accurate. I don't know. The fact that we got to finally hear Joel's world-renowned Dennis Miller impersonation on this podcast,
I mean,
is an unforeseen silver lining.
I mean, that was a silver lining for me, for sure. Also, shout out to Lars, who's probably not listening to this, but if he is, I once made him watch Dennis Miller's like 2000 like special, it was like the Century in Review, only because Norm Macdonald was really funny on it, and I still quote that to him to this day because he's the only other person Who's ever seen it? It was me and him and Dennis Miller are the only 3 people who have watched it because Norm
And
didn't.
Norm didn't even watch it. Sandra Bullock's great.
Sandra Bullock,
She
yeah.
is genuinely great.
Yeah.
Like she's a very good choice for the lead role in this movie. You know, that she was in her peak maybe in the 90s, even though, you know, she won her Oscar about a decade later, but still, you know, Speed, The Net, Forces of Nature,
Demolition Man.
all classics.
Yeah.
Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's kind of boring though.
It's not only boring, it's infuriating.
Yeah. Well, and like not as much about the internet as you would think, you know, for like
To
a
be
movie.
called The Net.
Yeah, to be called The Net, it's really should be called the catfishing of a lonely lady on her one vacation in her entire life.
Yeah, Jeremy Northam was good as a slimy villain guy though.
He was really good.
It was very slimy.
Yeah, he was very slimy. Also, Dennis
I
Miller
think-
was good as a slimy boyfriend. Not intentional,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, she had not only like nobody that was connected to her that was like really on her side, and you know they make this because she's like a recluse or whatever. It's all like that now. Ha! Joke's on you, 1995. But like, there was not even like one good person in the world, like not one bystander that helped her out.
I think the guy that died on the airplane, I think he was the only guy that was cool.
That was it.
Yeah. So they took out all of her support,
Which was
ahead of
one
time.
guy who also still had never met her. They could have made it be that guy had met her before, but nope, she never met him either.
Nope.
Never met him.
Yeah. But yeah,
He's too OP. He had a Cessna.
true. But it was
And with his own
hooked-
plane.
unfortunately that Cessna was hooked up to Wi-Fi, and that was his downfall. So
Yeah, some real unexplained mysteries in this one.
yeah, but I think we did
I think
it.
we did it.
Yeah. Marty.
Do we do it? I mean, there's so much. There's still so much to like. I'll have to let it go. I think the one thing that I will say is we should all remember the parts of the net that Angela Bennett was fighting for, right? She wasn't a hacker. She was just good at using computers.
Mhm.
And even so, she was able to make a huge career out of that by just being a person who like uses computers a little harder than the next person.
That's true.
And nowadays, that's doing a lot of damage to the world. I think people, you probably want to do less using computers, especially if they're out there like adding new AI features and you're just clicking through and letting them go. That's not the net that Angela Bennett died for. Okay.
She didn't die.
She didn't die.
Oh, you're right. That's not
That she
the
fought
net
for.
that she fought
that
for.
she fought for.
Yeah. And
That she
I had,
killed
I
for
had
it.
a whole bit I wanted to go on. She did kill for it. That's
yeah.
true. I had a whole bit I wanted to do where I got confused between this and the plot of The Matrix because The Office
That office scene is identical to The Matrix.
is so identical. Because there's actually a lot, and I could say, yeah, no, you know, the Star of Speed.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, Marty, thanks for doing this. This may be the quickest turnaround from invite to appearance on the podcast in the history of this podcast.
Yeah, I just said the words "the net," and Marty just he hacked
dropped
Into the
everything.
chat.
He hacked
Yeah.
into this chat right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So thank you all for your patience. I guess I'll give control of the stream back to you, Joel.
And I think what we're trying to say,
If you just click the pie in the corner.
I'm going to hit escape instead.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
You have to leave it on.
But no, is there? Do you want to promote anything? Do you want to point people towards anything?
Sure. On Mondays, I stream with a group called the Nowsayers on Twitch. We're at twitch.tv/Nowsayers. And we usually play tabletop games, role-playing games. But because the world sucks, we've been playing Stardew Valley 4-player together. And it's usually really wholesome and nice. But sometimes, weirdly, it's very petty and vindictive. And that's strange. So come check it out. Give us advice. Maybe come moderate in the chat.
And also, as always, we are telling everyone, go outside and touch grass.
Oh, yeah. That's solid. Log off.
touch that
Oh, I
grass.
forgot the silver lining. The computers needed phone lines and modems. They didn't have wireless back then, and that's how it should be today.
Oh, it's lost to the history of time, unfortunately.
I already hit escape. Sorry.
Oh, well,
We're outside touching grass like we're Maximus and Gladiator, cha-cha.
Silver Linings Playback is a production of HoboTrashcan.com. If you enjoyed the show, please rate or review it on Apple Podcasts. Hear more great shows on the Peak Sloth Podcast Network.